Hey brother, it's Dan with Good Guys to Great Men. Thanks again for watching today. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about happiness. When we talk about happiness, we're often talking about unhappiness. When we start talking to guys in the coaching that we do, they come to us with a problem, they come to us with something that they want to improve. And we'll often ask them, okay, so what do you want? And the first response, as I said in one of the videos recently, was, well, I know what I don't want. And they list out all the things. I'm not happy with the lack of connection and affection. I'm not happy with where my work career is. I'm not happy with, this relationship with my family or whatever it is. There's lots of different reasons. But unhappiness points to something else. We often talk about it as it points to areas that you need to grow in yourself as a man. This question of who are you as a man comes up again. And we all always go, what does that even mean? What do you mean, who am I as a man? Well, this is my name, this is what I do for a living, and I have a family, and I have this house, and now who are you as a man? What drives your decisions? What drives the actions that you take? And why this is important is because ultimately happiness, is an inside game. Happiness is a perception of yourself. And that changes depending on how you think about yourself, what you think about yourself. And that changes depending on your standards and your values and your principles and all of those sorts of things. So when we talk about happiness in a relationship where maybe there's no connection, there's distance, there's coldness, there's arguing. When we talk about happiness in that sort of situation, really we break it right down into small little pieces. So, well, who are you as a man? Well, maybe I'm a man who recognizes he's generous. Maybe I'm a man who's reliable. Maybe I'm a man who is considerate. Maybe I'm a man who's compassionate and trusting, respectful. Okay, so every time you have a decision to make, every time you have some kind of action to take, think about what value or what principle is behind or underneath that action, that decision that you make. And the reason that it's really important to do this is because every time you choose to make a decision that's in line with who you say you are as a man, there's a little small chemical reaction that happens. There's some little block that gets put in place as a foundation. And every time you consistently do this, even though you might be still having the same problems, still having the same resistance, still struggling in your outside circumstances compared to where you would like them to be, every time you consistently do this, hold yourself to a certain standard, live to the man that you say that you are, it builds. And those small chemical reactions become something bigger. What ends up happening is this foundation of self-respect. I know who I am. Even though other people might be disagreeing with me and blaming me for things or complaining that I'm the problem, I know who I am. For the first time in years we hear, I actually like myself. And it comes down to this whole thing. Who are you as a man? Do you make decisions and take action that's in line with who you are? Are you being the person that you say you really are? If you can be that person, it totally changes your perception. It totally changes your outlook. It totally changes how satisfied, fulfilled, and enjoyable your life is, moment to moment, day by day. And then we consistently see when you hold yourself to being the person, being the man that you say that you are, when you make it a priority to hold yourself to all principles and standards because they're important to you, because they mean something to you, because they are things that you've identified that you want to give to other people, to the world, to experience the gift of giving those things. When you do that, life starts to change, one way or another. And it starts by having more self-satisfaction and more fulfillment in yourself, more happiness, more relaxation. But you start to see very quickly, and we see this first and foremost with kids. Kids respond to this change in who you are much quicker than everybody else because there's no baggage. They're not holding on to anything. They don't have that level of distrust. I've seen these changes before, but I don't believe them. They just look at it and go, okay, right now, this is who you are. This is who you're being with me, and I can meet you there. I want to meet you there. I want to enjoy everything that this moment has to offer. And the same thing happens in relationships. but it takes a longer period of time because there's more trust and baggage to go through. All comes down to your consistency. That's what I wanted to give you today, guys. Happiness is an inside job. It comes from your perception and view of yourself. So do you know who you are? Do you know why you are? And what the decisions that you make and the actions that you take fundamentally boil down to with regards to values, principles, and standards.